Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now this is a bit different because I'm going to be reviewing basically the same beer. Now what we're going to be reviewing is, well, easiest way is just to show you. There's this Stella Artois, which is popular. God knows why, but it's popular. But over the years it started off going down from 5% to 4.8% and then down to 4.6%. But now they've launched an unfiltered version. Ooh, if we get them right round the right way. And yeah, so we've got Stella Artois original and Stella Artois unfiltered. And the whole point of it is apparently that initially the unfiltered came out in Philip's Genuine Draft, and people were going mad for it because it tasted like beer. Strange, but anyway. And then they brought it out in bottles, and as they had the kind of first dibs. So they had exclusive rights for a set period, and then it's now out in kind of most supermarkets. I've seen it in Waitrose, I've seen it in Morrison's, that type of thing now. So there is a bit of a difference because obviously one's filtered and one's unfiltered. Now the unfiltered, which is this one, is 5%. Interesting. And then of course the filtered one, which of course is a 4.6%. Now price wise this is roughly about £2.25, £2.30 for 660 ml, and this is £1.80 for 660 ml. So there you go. Is there any kind of spiel in the back? No, not really. Now I've heard a few different kind of things about it. I don't know whether they're true or not. I've just remembered I've left the bloody bottle opener. Oh God, you silly bastard. Right, we're now back in the room. I've heard rumours where apparently the unfiltered is an old recipe for Stella Artois that they decided to revive and everything else. I don't know where they brewed this, I don't know. Does it tell us anywhere? So it says brewed in the UK for the unfiltered, and the filtered one is brewed in the UK. So there you go. So they're both brewed in the UK. So there's the differences. There's a price difference, there's an alcohol difference. Let's see if there's going to be a taste difference. Let's crack them open. And if you're wondering why I'm sounding a bit different, I've just had a bit of oral work on the mouth, and things have moved. Oh no. And I'm waiting for my tongue to get used to where everything has moved to. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, I'm getting skunkiness. This is from the filtered one. Oh God, I'm getting skunk. Bloody hell. Right, let's pour it. Jesus. It's a good start, isn't it? Oh, it smells like cabbage. There you go. Bloody hell does it smell like cabbage. Name of Christ. Good start, Graham, good start. Let's do the unfiltered one. A little bit of skunky, a little bit of cabbage smell, but nowhere near as bad as the original filtered. So let's see what this is like. Now apparently people are raving from this thing. It's absolutely fabulous, which maybe tells you how shit the original is. Everybody seems to think that, oh, the unfiltered stuff is just, oh, it's something new. So let's look at them. Unfiltered, filtered, original, the new pish, the new one. But yeah, they look kind of similar. yeah, let's kind of break it down. Let's see where we are. So, keep them as in line with the bottles. This is the filtered and the original, and it has got a skunky smell to it. You can smell it, right? I'm not really getting much out of it. I'm just getting cabbage. Maybe a little bit of light malt, a little bit of grain, but that's it. It really isn't much there. Let's try the Unfiltered. Let's see what it's like. A little bit of cabbage, a little bit of grain, and there might be malts there, but really I can't really smell them. So yeah, so which one should I go with first? Right, we'll try the original first, at 4.6%. Right, what am I getting? I'm getting kind of grain, kind of wheat. I'm getting slight kind of lemon flavours, not citrus, but kind of lemony kind of flavours. I mean, it could be like kind of lemongrass type thing scenario. A little bit lemony. I'm getting a little bit of green and a slight sweetness in the aftertaste. Right, so let's break it down. So I'm getting a bit of grain to start with a little underlying sweetness. Moves on to the mid-tongue, and you just get little accents of lemon, but not lemon as in citrus, lemon as in kind of lemon kind of flavouring, so it could be kind of like lemongrass, that type of stuff. Not a citrus kind of acid kind of flavouring, it's kind of like, imagine like, you know, a lemon flavoured sweet, that type of stuff, so you get little accents with the kind of underlying sweetness. A little bit of grain or wheatiness still there, but not as strong as it was. And then what it does is it kind of finishes off with an ever so slight bitterness in the aftertaste, but it's still got a little bit of grain there and a teeny little bit of sweetness, and that's it. So there you go. Right, so let's try the Unfiltered. Right, now I don't know how it's brewed in the UK, but I know the Stella brewery in Belgium is fully automated. It's all basically done by control panels, computers and everything else. So there's that, and you can just basically dial in the recipes. And that's also where Lef Blonde and some of the other Lef products is also made as well, so it's made in the same brewery. So I don't really know what this is supposed to be like in the UK, but I presume it's just adapting a different recipe in Belgium to get this kind of difference. There is a slight haze to it. If you look at it, it's just a slight haze compared to the original. This is the original, this is the Unfiltered, and there's a slight haze to it, but not really. There's no sediment as far as I can see. Right, straight away what I'm noticing is there isn't such a kind of bitterness, that kind of sourness in the aftertaste. So that's not really there. It's a bit of a kind of lighter, sweeter aftertaste compared to the original. Okay, let's break it down. There's an underlying sweetness all the way through. I'm getting some grain and some sweetness. At the start, it's going on to the mid-tongue, and it's still there. You're still having the kind of grain and the sweetness in the mid-tongue. It's probably lessened a bit compared to the front of the mouth, but it's still fairly strong. And then it goes into the aftertaste where the grain starts to kind of dissipate away in the aftertaste, and you're just left with a kind of light sweetness. And that's really it. You're not getting any kind of really maltishness with it. The best way to describe it, which is a bit strange, is like taking the original flavour and just dialing everything down apart from the kind of sweetness. So it is a sweeter lager compared to the original. Not, when I say sweeter, I'm not saying it's sweet, but there is a sweetness to it within that. There hasn't got the kind of bitterness in the aftertaste. And just everything, just from the grain and everything else, just slightly dialed down. But the sweetness still remains the same. And because of that, the sweetness becomes more prominent within this unfiltered version, because all the other kind of flavour profile just seems to be kind of dialed back, just seems to be kind of less intense. Yeah, there is. Does it make it better? Well, some of the flavour profiles that you might not like in Stella is probably that kind of sour or slightly... Well, when it used to be 5%, I felt it kind of tasted a bit kind of chemically. So a bit of a kind of a chemical sourness to it in the aftertaste. And then when it went down to 4.8, it got a bit better. And when it went down to 4.6, it got better still, just because that kind of dropping that alcohol by volume was enough just to kind of take the edge off that bitter sourness that you used to get in the aftertaste that I really found quite unpleasant. But comparing the two together, then yes, I would say this is still quite prominent with a kind of slightly chemical sour or bitter kind of aftertaste, because it's just not present in this one. So even though it's dialed back at a 4.6 compared to where it used to be like at 5%, it's still quite prominent compared to obviously the unfiltered version, which doesn't have it at all. Again, colour wise, colours are fairly kind of similar, but again this has got a slight haze to it, and this is obviously, you know, it's filtered so it's clear. Again, Stella isn't really my favourite lager in the world. In fact, it's probably quite down the list. I mean, I'll be totally honest, I have been in people's houses saying, "You want a beer?" "Oh yeah, what have you got?" "Stella." "I'll have a coffee." It's usually my kind of response. Any tea good? You want me to fill the kettle? That kind of thing. But with the unfiltered, it does appear to be a more palatable beer. Just with things being dialed back, it does actually improve it in a way that just actually makes it a bit more drinkable from my point of view, because I used to find that the original Stella Artois, whether it was 5%, 4.8 or the 4.6, even though the 4.6 I found became a bit more palatable, it was still, no, I still found it quite off some of the flavour tones for a lager. And yeah, and it was quite funny because I used to get them off flavour tones in Grolsch as well, and also in Kronenbourg 1664. So you've got these kind of three heavily mass marketed beers from Belgium, France, and Holland or Netherlands, and they all had that kind of horrible, kind of sour, bitter, chemically kind of aftertaste, and I just thought they were dreadful. I classed them as the three amigos of piss water. But people have been raving about the unfiltered version. I don't know about raving about it, but I would say it is more palatable and is more drinkable. I would say yes, it's more drinkable. They've dialed everything back and it just becomes a bit more pleasant to drink. Would I buy it? Well, put it this way. If somebody says, do you want a beer? I say, oh yeah, what have you got? Stella. Which one? Unfiltered. Alright, I'll take one. That's the difference. That's probably the best way is I wouldn't refuse it. Whereas I would still refuse the filtered version, the original. Now, going by price wise, well, £1.80 and roughly about £1.25, or sorry, £2.25. So £1.80 for the original filtered, and then it's about £2.25, £2.30 a bottle. And that's kind of a bit of a price difference, really. I mean, you're looking at a base, it's 50p a bottle. Would I say that this is 50p worth better than this? I don't know. It's hard to say. My battery running out again. Has this screwed me over again? This bloody camera. You sure of shit. I don't know. Anyway, we'll quickly wrap it up. What would I give it out of 10? Right, this, well, out of 10, I'd probably give this 3. I'm not really favoured from it. This one, I'm going to give this a 5, because it's drinkable. It's a good average. Yeah, about 4.5, 5-ish. I would give it that. And yeah, I wouldn't say I would recommend it, but I'd say if you're a Stella drinker, you probably might enjoy this better than this. If you're looking for a lager that's more drinkable and palatable, then I would say this is probably better than this. The problem is they're both in green bottles. They're both kind of susceptible to being skunked or light striked, depending on what you want to call it. And yeah, partly marketing is more important than the quality of product in the bottle. But yeah, it's up to you. Anyway, like I was saying, it's up to you what you're really kind of into. If you want a better drinking lager, then I would say this is better, and I would say it's 5 out of 10. Kind of a fairly good average kind of beer. This, like I said, it's about 3 out of 10, and I'm probably being slightly generous because I really don't particularly like this at all. It's not really my cup of tea. So I would say yes, the unfiltered version. Whether they've changed the recipe or not, I don't really know. I know they've dialed everything down a bit, and I don't think it's just by not filtering the beer that's causing it. So yes, I would probably say there is a difference in recipe and maybe also ingredients as well. But they've managed to make a beer for me that's bordering on the undrinkable, and they've made it drinkable and then charged you an extra 50p, which I find very strange, because at the end of the day they should maybe have made the beer drinkable in the first place, or more drinkable in the first place, instead of thinking, well, there you go, there's a bottle of shit. But what we'll do is we'll make a new version that isn't shit, but we'll charge you more for it. Yeah, pick some, something like that from Apple or something, or Samsung, but no. So there you go, the unfiltered. It is a nicer, more drinkable beer than the original. If you're into Stella Artois and you haven't tried it, then yeah, go and try it. You might like it, you might enjoy it more than the original. If you're not really into Stella Artois, then my view is, well yeah, give it a go. You might find it, like me, more palatable, more drinkable than the original. and might give you another option for kind of ice cold lagers with the summer coming up and barbecues and party times. So there you go. So thanks for watching, cheers, and bye for now. Can't believe that bloody battery ran out. You sure as shit.